Good evening. Welcome to my craft room. It is Sissy with Sissy's Cards and Crafts tonight. So last night we did a great unboxing of a bunch of stuff, and I warned you I'd be playing with these masks. I'd be playing with some other things. I came up with an amazing card that I'll be quite excited to share. It will be an intensive share because it'll take a while to get it put together, but it's pretty cool with the Peekaboo Forest stamp set and dies. It's pretty sweet. Just a quick playing around. Something I came up with is this little one, but this really isn't quite what I was doing with that. So that's to come. So again, Sissy from Sissy's Cards and Crafts. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Eastern Ontario, Canada. Proud to be a Canadian and proud to be bringing Stampin' Up to you, the products, but mostly just crafting and card making. It is, it is an awesome way to show somebody some love and some care. So tonight I showed the suite that I got for the Thankful Garden. Yeah, and that's, oh no, it's Lovely Garden Suite collection. So it came with the stamps, dies, the masks, ribbon, and paper. Yes, and some jewels. So I am, in all honesty, going to... So I'm just trying to find those jewels. I tucked everything away, and now I won't be able to find them. But these were the jewels that came with it. I don't know if I'm going to use them or not. I will keep them out just in case. With the colors that I'm thinking of doing, might not want to use them. And the ribbon as well. It is fresh freeze ribbon. Very pretty. I did make a card earlier today. I cased it. So case is where we copy one that somebody else has done. This is off of the Stampin' Up website. I did alter it a bit. So it had this lovely hydrangea. It had leaves kind of in the background. I repositioned the leaves and did a little bit differently. I added this beautiful ribbon here. And I also, the card was just made on this DSP. I matted it on black and then did a slate matting on the inside and put my own, well, not my own, it's from Unbounded Love set. This is a great set. I think it's still available. Let me just check here. It was the last time I checked, which wasn't that long ago. Yep, still even as a suite where you can get paper and everything. It is awesome. So lots of sayings, fit all sorts of different things. I mean, we have little one here. My heart goes out to you with sympathy. You're loved. Have a blessed day. And within this set, so you've got the stamps also, but you can get all of these dies. So these are just paper cutouts, and they're pretty amazing. I've shared them before, but that's a great set. So this is especially for sentiments. So that's where I got these sentiments from for that card. But I made it, and then I decked out the envelope, little stamp here, and the coordinating back. So that was one thing I did just to kind of get used to the masks. So what we're going to do tonight is case another, well, it's not even a card. It looks like it's a box that they have created. It's on, if you look up the Thankful Garden, I believe it is one of the things that they show there. So I'm just going to pull it up again. Yeah, it's right on the web page. So what I'm going to do is we're going to make it into a card. So we're using basically that idea. And one of the things I liked about it is I actually used black leaves on it, with this yellow flower. The paper they used as a background was this. So we've got that crushed curry in there, and there is black, and this really stood out nice on that. I am going to just take it one step further. I'm going to use my white card base, thick white. I'm going to create a black mat on the back using this. This side, it's just the opposite side of this. And we're going to see how that works out. So I've got my card base here. I will create that mat. Both of these papers do have a direction to it. So just note that, but it could go any which way. I'm personally seeing this as the way, but then I'm looking, well, that flower's upside down. So really, I guess this is my biggest directional, but for these, what I'm looking for, I'm really not too worried about it. So this I'm going to do 4 1/8. And then I can just tuck that aside. And then I want that 5 3/8. So it's just an 1/8 of an inch that will be showing around. And then I'm going to go even, another 1/8 of an inch. So it will be 4. And there you go, like that. 8. That just amazes me. I know I've said it too many times before, but to see that we can just get an 1/8 of an inch off with this paper trimmer is just astounding. Now I have this one little piece left over, other than these little 1/8 of an inch pieces. I'm keeping that. I will use that. So that goes in the fancy basket over there where I keep it all in. Now, I actually want to take a little bit more off the edge. So there we go. I got to do that 1/8 of an inch, right? Which I know this paper trimmer can handle. Just when you are doing that little tiny piece, so if I'm starting at the top, don't pull down, push up, and vice versa. So if I'm at the bottom, pull down, don't push up. There, so that I'm not 100% sold on the white lines under that because they're not 100% straight, which I didn't realize. But I think it will do what I want it to do. I think I like that. Okay, so that's going to be our card base. Now, the dies, we've got the flower die. We have the stamp, and I'm using this, I think it's like a wild rose is the way I see this. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, because that, I'm not huge on flowers, but I kind of think that's what it looks like to me. All right, so we're going to stamp this, and I've just got a piece of white cardstock here that I'm printing on or stamping on. You do need the bigger block for this to get it stamped properly. All right, so there we go. Nice stamp. Just going to give it a quick clean with my Stampin' Scrub. Cleans it right off, gives it a nice dry, and look at that, all ready to go for the next one. Okay, so there we go. Now, these masks, and I've used them, and remember, red stains. It stains everything other than glass, really. And so I've used it. That's how I created this one. Because remember, I mentioned last night, this, I want one color, the leaves, I want another color. How am I going to do that other than coloring them? And then this also gives me a nice depth to things. So the first thing I want to do, if I can reach around the camera without knocking it, is I want to tape this down. I'm just going to give it a tape because I don't want it to move. And I know it's not straight on with my grid. I just need it secure. And I'm really just kind of looking at how I want to place these. Okay. There is, if you feel the side, like this is shiny. This is shiny as well, but there's just a different feel to it. So make sure you've got the right side up. Really, if you're in doubt, look at the number. There's a number up here in the corner. I don't know if you can see that, but there's number 1. So I can't see it on that side. And you'll notice there's a little notch here. So I kind of had a general idea when I started earlier today of what I was doing here, but I didn't do this little notch. So I think because this flower is a little bit more intense, like it's not round like the other one was, I'm going to actually put some tape on this that I can, I'll just reuse for the other masks. So I'll pull off and use for each masks individually. All right, so got that there. And there's also this notch, like I said. What we want to do with that is just kind of make that there. So that's like really it's that V that we're looking at. This is just a dry erase marker. It's going to come right off that glass. Works like a charm. All right, so now when I go to use my next mask, I can just line up that notch and it will be it'll pretty much right where I want it. I might have to, just because my line is bold, right? If I could have a nice fine line, it probably would be better. All right, I'm just going to grab some scrap. We'll keep going with this scrap that I've been using all day, and blending brushes. Now, I really enjoy blending. I've got my blending brushes, and I just have them for kind of the colors. So this is a yellow-orange one. If I rub it, I can rub all the ink off of it. Then I have a red-pink one, I have a green one, a blue one. You want to get some ink on there, but take some of it off first, like make sure it's well mixed on here, and then come in on your plastic. Don't start right on your flower, because see, there's all that ink there, and I want to just make this ever so light. So I'm actually very, very light on my pressure here. This is the background color. If I did this really dark, you're not going to see the other colors that should be on there. And circular motion is going to work better than straight, especially if you have a lot on your brush. So for this flower, we're just going to use crushed curry. That's the only color. So we want to make sure we start light, so then our next color will be darker. So you can see there, I've got some of that marker on that. So right away, that's going to kind of alter my marking there slightly, but it's bang on to help me get it in the right position quite easily. This washes off very nicely. However, you know, pink will stain it or red will stain it. Okay, so we have 2. I'm going to line that up with that mark there. But you see, once I lined it up, I'm still off. So you will need a little bit of adjustment. It's fairly easy to adjust, but it's an adjustment. It's not like, oh, which way am I going here? So I'm just loading this up again, get a little more ink, and this time I want to go a little bit darker. So I'm actually I might have a little bit more ink on my brush. Probably not. It's more than I'm just using a little bit more pressure. All right, that's it. I like it. Now, and again, I started here, right, and pushed the ink in. All right, 3, mark it here. And this is where we get a little bit like, ooh, where exactly is this supposed to go? But you can see through it. It's fairly easy to You only have 3 mats. If we had more mats, it might be a little bit more intense to find. But now I'm coming in here and I'm going to make sure I get all of the little spots. These are quite small. They're not really big like what we had before. And I want to just make sure I get that nice dark color in there. And I can have a little peek. Little peek. There we go. Looks good. So I'm going to take this tape because I'm going to use it again. So there's another one that can go to the wash. Isn't that amazing? Like it just, you can even come back if you want and bring the first one back in. And again, I'm just going to go light, but this will kind of blend those colors a little bit more. If you find that that darker layer was just a little bit too stark for you, which I don't, but I'm just giving a demonstration there of how you could do that. Or if you wanted to make it darker, I actually did that with my other one. I got it done. I'm like, yeah, I wanted that a little darker. So I just put the first one back in and did it again. And this here, this is all I'm doing to kind of clean this off. But because I'm going to use this for yellow and orange, it doesn't have to be completely empty of color. But it, you know, if I'm going to come in with lemon lolly, I do always test them first though, just to make sure. All right, so then I have my green one here. It says green tape. It's kind of the giveaway for that. And this time I'm going to use shaded spruce. So I'll put this ink away. No, I don't need that. And I'm going to pull up the shaded spruce. So my notch there says 4. I'm going to line that up, and right there are all my leaves. So there's only 2 mats or masks, sorry, for the leaves. And so I want fairly, is this the right color I want? Maybe I still have a lot of that other green on there. Like I do. I was using, Pretty Peacock. And I think I got a little bit too much on there. So get that off. There, look at that. Pretty much done. Yeah, there's the Pretty Peacock. That's the paper I was using. So we use some of this shaded spruce. Do you know what? I'm changing my mind. I think I'm going to go with Old Olive. That's just a little too blue for me. So we'll use, or Mossy Meadow. Which one? The quote unquote recipe for this actually used garden green. I don't have that, and I thought, oh, Mossy Meadow or shaded spruce is close enough, but I'm not liking it. So let's do this one instead. Let's see here. This is a whole other card that I did today that I quite liked. Okay, so I think I have quite a bit of ink on there. So I'm going to come in. You could always go darker, but you can't go lighter. So start really light. I don't have to worry about, like, if I go over top of these flowers, there's a piece of plastic there. I'm not doing anything there. So don't be afraid to kind of swirl outside the lines a bit to get that color on there. All right, after all that kerfuffle, that's it. I'm going to put the other mask on here. I have a feeling I might want to come back to this one. I'm not sure. So last one is number 5. So line it up with the notch. Come in here. tape it down, get a little more ink. Gotta love my talking to myself, right? So I'm going to just push a little bit harder here. Really, if it's not so much about loading up the ink, for me, it's more pressure. I'm loading ink the same way for both, but I'm using just more pressure as I come in to make it a little darker. Okay, let's see how that looks. I'm feeling I'm going to want that other. Yeah, it's not too bad, actually. I'm quite happy with that. So, oops, sorry. I shouldn't be using the camera stand for tape holder. All right, so this just erases off there. And I'll put that away. I think I'm going to use that in a second. And tuck that away. Perfect. Okay, so now I use these, and I'm going to put our die on here to cut this out. There are 2 other dies that look like flower dies in this set, but if you're going to use washi tape, make sure you're not putting it on your picture too much. Just try to capture the edge of the die and the external paper. Yeah, so there's other dies that look like flower dies, but then there's only the 2 stamps, flower stamps. And you might be thinking, what is going on? But it's just cutting out the one flower. I think I can find it here for you. This one here. So that's just cutting out the flower. That's all that's doing. Won't cut out that one. It's a little too big, right? But it'll cut out that one so you can get a smaller flower if you want for another option. And there's leaf stamps as well. So if you wanted to do a smaller flower with a leaf, you could do that. All right, so I've got this ready to go. Here we go. Come on. Do what you're supposed to do. There we go. Job. This just fits on my mini cut and emboss. One of these days, I will invest in the big one. I think I would really enjoy it. Like I say, I have the big Sizzix. I'm happy with it. It does the trick, so I'm not gonna, make a fuss. But it would be nice to have one that folds up and easy to use. I haven't got this all on magnetic sheets yet. The magnetic sheets I bought are not 5x7. I thought they were. I think they're only 3.5 by 4, something like that. They're not big at all. And so I kind of just wish I could buy some more. Notice I've got this on my fingers. I tend to do that when I'm doing the brushing, so make sure your fingers are wiped off if you are like me. Okay, so then we're going to put this flower here, but because the flower we will pop it up, but because it kind of just blends into that DSP, we're going to add these black leaves. And how did they have it? I just want a quick peek here. They kind of come down like this, and this one here. And then they had kind of these ones in here. Might be too much because remember they were putting this on a box where I don't really have the box to put it on. So I will reposition a little bit. Something I did think about, let's give this a try. I was thinking especially with these ones is taking my Wink of Stella and actually brushing over them to give them a little bit of glitter. And then I don't need to use any sort of gems for this because these are going to be basically my gems. Wink of Stella is a very fine glitter, but it is a glitter, right? And you see that shine in that there, right? Like that will, I think, make these pop quite a bit. I don't need to do the lower ones because they're going to get covered up. And, you know, you don't want to waste your Stella if you don't have to. So we're just going to do these. My dog's snoring in the background. Gotta love that. Love the puppy doggies. Okay. So that one, and we'll do this one. I think I'll leave the bigger ones. Get it? Leave the leaves. Ha ha ha. Didn't, made it funny, didn't even try. Yeah, I just to make it a little bit different, instead of having them all blending together, just that might not be what I want to do. But because these are going to take up so much space, if I use them all, which now that I've used Stella on them, I probably should, these ones can just be happy sitting in the background and kind of sitting out doing nothing. All right, so I think that's kind of what I'm going to do. And then this will go here in the center like this. So we've got that glitter distributed through the card. All right, so that's my position basically. Now let's start gluing things down. And I really like that this is just the same DSP. I've just flipped it over. One of the things, so I mentioned how one of the big things, draws for me to seek out Stampin' Up was the embossing. My sister and I, big into crafting and Cricut, and we were having a big discussion about, you know, oh, it doesn't emboss. And I really like doing 3D projects. And so something like a house, I wanted to have like wood grain on it or some sort of embossing on it. It just gives it a little bit more to me. So I was always like, oh, I wish I could do that. And she said, well, you know what? I have a friend who sells Stampin' Up products, and they have embossing folders. I'll hook the two of you up. So she did. And as they say, the rest is history. But the other thing that really drew me to Stampin' Up was the double-sided paper. I don't know what it's like in the States, but in Canada, we have very limited resources of where to purchase double-sided paper. It ends up being on Amazon, like something like this, for pattern paper or whatever. And, you know, that gets pricey. And I don't like buying stuff that I can't see first unless I'm certain of the quality of it. So I then said to this lovely lady that my sister introduced me to, I asked her about the quality of the paper, and I started with the paper pumpkin. I'm like, well, you know what? This is a good, we'll get the subscription, see what the paper is like, what the products are like, and then I'll go from there. And so that's what I did, and I really found the paper quality quite amazing. And you get the solid core. Of course, the DSP is not going to be solid core, but their cardstock, original cardstock, is solid core, which means if it's red all the way through. It's not going to, you're not going to cut it and it be white. So in the middle. And when, again, you're doing something like making a house out of paper, or I even did a big Mickey Mouse out of paper. I'm just going to let that dry for a second before I keep going. It really doesn't look as nice with cuts that are white. If you want red, you want red. You don't want to see white sticking through all the time. So I really liked their cardstock. Oh shoot, I did not want to do that. That's what I was trying not to do. And then yeah, the DSP, I'm like, hey, okay, let's check out this double-sided DSP. What is it like? Is it like cheap looking? How is it? And the first couple sets I got, I was like, this is pretty cool. I really quite like this. And it's only gotten better. And with Paper Pumpkin, it's only gotten better as well. It's like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe some of the supplies you get in that kit and the quality of it. It's just beautiful. Okay, so you'll notice what I did is I just kind of lifted some of the leaves where I wanted them to stick, and that just kind of helped me keep the position. So once those are secured, I can kind of come around and get these other ones. I didn't do that for this middle one because I kind of just positioned it around the other two that I knew were in the right spot. But the problem I do have with these, and I've had this happen earlier today, is because there's a cut down the middle, like they put a line to give some definition there, glue's seeping out through it. So I want to use it very, very little bit at a time. And see, I've got too much there. So just be mindful when you're doing these. Now, there's two rules of thought. There's the seal, which is like it's a tape runner, and there is glue. And I've been trying to, my son got some tape runners for Christmas, and he's unable to use them. So he can't. So this was one of them. This is not Stampin' Up, but push and pull and the tape, you get a line of tape on there. I can't figure it. I know how to use it. I can use it, but I get frustrated very quickly with it. It just seems to be something that does not want to function. I just don't have the knack, we'll say. So I prefer the glue, but what are you? Do you like the tape runners? Apparently you can get the seal or the seal plus, and so the one is stronger than the other. The glue is very strong. The tear and tape, which is just a roll of tape that you tear off strips of it. There's just one strip, one width, but I mean, other brands have different widths, but I believe Stampin' Up! Just has the one width. It's also a very strong adhesive. All right, but I'm kind of the liquid glue. I find I can control it better. And maybe I'm a weird duck for saying that. Okay, so there we go. I've put that on some dimensionals. I was debating putting a ribbon on, and I thought maybe I could stick it under there, but no, I'm not going to do a ribbon today. Hold back. I really like doing the ribbon, but I'm going to hold back. So there we go. I'm going to put that on there, and then we will need a sentiment. What I want to use for sentiment, I'm not 100% certain on yet, but let's look at what this set has. On the one on the Stampin' Up! Website that I'm casing is using one from the set. With Love is what they're using. So let's see. So they're using this one. And it's probably the right size because I could tuck it right in there. Or the other ones are Thankful for You, Friend. It's a little bigger, but bolder. What do we think? Let's see what these textured note dies. Don't believe. Yeah, no, I think. Well, let's see what this one. I haven't taken them all off yet, so they stick. I can appreciate they had to package these this way, but I'm not a fan. Yeah, you know what? There you go. That's what we're going to do right there. Problem solved. Okay, so let's put this on a block. I am going to use the Mossy Meadow ink. And did I have a piece of white somewhere? There we go. Binga banga boom. Make it easy. Oh, I haven't used this one yet, so let's give it a scrub. Scrub-a-dub-dub. And a trial, right? Always do that. A trial, make sure it's going to work. And I can see where it's just a little bubbly, and that's those oils. So I like to give it a couple good stamps, give it a little rub, and get those oils off. I could even do another scrub here. Okay. Still looks a little bubbly, but not like it did. Oh, my cat is crying. It is late. She wants her supper. And if I don't feed her, she will be miserable. She is very set in her ways, and she's very stubborn. And I might not be the biggest cat person. I love all God's creatures. They can get frustrated very quickly with her. So I'm going to have to make them quick so I can go feed her. All right. So I'm going to get this out. Don't get me wrong. I love, like I say, all God's creatures. She's technically not my cat. My daughter came home in 2020 and brought the cat, and then got engaged, moved back to Edmonton with her husband, who's allergic to cats. So we've inherited the cat, and rightfully so. I think the cat's a little bit mad that this is not. We don't do things the way she's used to things being done, even though it is 4 years later. She's still not happy with us. All right. Okay. So I'm going to put that on there. Oh, man. These dies, again, I hear people talk about them on demonstrators and how amazing they are. And I have to agree. That's just that edging on that. See it there? It's just a really nice. All right. Trying to get it to. I think I'm just going to have to get a new camera here for this. This is frustrating me. All right. So I like that green in there. I'm going to pop that up. Now, really, I'm just going to put dimensionals on this end. Unless I want to double pop it, which means 1 dimensional here and 2 on this side. let's do that just for the sake of in telling you what I mean. So first off, is there some structure there? So I want to make sure I get on that structure, but not to put it here where there isn't any. It's going to have to kind of come up here, which I think is fine. And then this side has 2 dimensionals because this is up a dimensional, this is up a dimensional. So I need to equalize that and put it on the same plane, because I've not done that on some cards, not caught it. And then I look at the card and I'm like, what doesn't look right? Something just isn't quite correct about that. And that's what it is. It's just sinking in the middle. All right. So there we go. Make that all nice and straight. I hope. I can't quite see because I'm looking at it from a different angle. So there we go. I really do like that. I'm not much of a yellow green person, but I think just that black makes it pop. And then something even as simple as this little edging here really looks nice. Like I say, I don't think I need anything shiny because I do have quite a bit of shine there. So inside we did a Thankful for You Friend. Did I do that stamp? I put it back. Look at that. I'm better than I thought I was. And then there's this one, You Make a Difference. So let's put that one on the inside. Now, remember I said this little piece here? We're going to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp on this, and I think let's just put a nice little leaf on there just to kind of show this corner a little bit. There we go. I'm going to get the ink pad out. And then I'll cut this down. So look at that. I'm going to even get more out of that. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to make such a loud bang. I didn't realize it was something up on there. Okay, so then we're just going to adhere this on there like that. Or I could do this other side. It's actually just a little bit shorter, isn't it? You need that 1/4 inch shorter. So 4. Yeah, let's just take a 1/4 inch off so it matches. There we go. Green or black? I'm thinking the black. I'm surprising myself with that. Let's just try to see if I can make this work and show you guys how inept I am with it. Like I'm getting it all over here. I guess that's partly because it's such a small piece, but I don't know. It just seems not to be how my hand works. And now look at, I've even got a little bit too big. So I'm just gonna snip that. Perfect. All right, so you'll notice this now is too big. I did think about that. So what I want to do here with that is, first off, this is a new stamp, so give it a clean. Give it a trial. Okay, so I'm going to give it another clean here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to ink up You Make on this. And I can come to the edge of this pad. So with this type, it's not so bad. Some types are a little bit different. And what I'll do is I'll get out a piece of tape, Scotch tape, and just cover what I don't want to show, or to ink up rather. And then I pull the tape off. So I ink up the part that I want, pull the tape off, stick it down, and okay, there's the cat. Just make sure you clean it between both because you don't want to have that coming. All right, so you make and then come in here and get those other two words. It's very close. Okay. I know some people will cut their stamps sometimes, and I've had a couple stamps where I'm like, yeah, you know what? I could cut them because I'm just not going to use them because they're too long. Or it might be the wording on it. It's more usable if I cut it. I have not cut one yet, but there is a couple that I'm like, you know what? I probably should just do that. All right, I'm not going to bother cutting that one because I could do that for it. And so this is going to go in the middle or in the inside, and we are done. So 46 minutes, not too bad. I thank you again for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, all that lovely stuff, so I can build this channel. And thank you if you've already done that. I really, really do appreciate it. Check out our Facebook page. Oh, you know what I did? I just did that wrong. Oh, don't do that, people. I'm going to have to put something over there. Just put it on the wrong side. I was laying it down. I'm like, why is there something there? So two things I can do for that. One, there is glue erasers. So when that glue dries, I can try to take that glue off. Or I can just take another piece of paper and put that there, which I might do actually. So don't mess your card up like what I did, but there's always a fix. And if you check out, I was starting to say about my Facebook page, check out my Facebook page. I will post how I fixed that to share that with you. Tidy your spaces up and have a wonderful, wonderful day. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Thanks for joining.